Next thing is we had additions to the agenda. We wanted to discuss,
Submitted, remember, Mike mentioned, I'm sorry, overlook the seven.
of 17-8.
Yes.
So we can do that as we get into the legal report. So is there anything else to be added to the agenda at this point? Okay, if not,
Submitted, make motion to release the notes by Mr. Buckley to the uniforms, the objective to be taken.
Mike wanted to add it, you
No.
wanted to add that to the agenda?
It is on the
No,
agenda.
I asked to release the opinion written by Donna Sharabani about whether we need a vote to sub-meter. And you said that we needed to discuss it first, but now it's on the agenda to be discussed.
Okay.
So then after the discussion, then we could release it to the unit owners.
We voted on this already once, I believe, we discussed this.
Yeah,
last time.
the recommendation, or actually the ruling was given to us by Donna.
The advice is given, all our memoranda come down,
I didn't forget.
marked privileged and confidential to the board. It doesn't have to be said on the memoranda, but it is said, so that you all realize it each time. The privilege is not mine, the confidentiality is not mine, it's the board's, and the board, by vote of the majority, can waive that privilege and confidentiality anytime it wants on anything we send it.
Okay,
Last
so,
time we discussed this, remember?
right, and now, as I understand it, the ruling was that
We
neither
make a
the-
decision ourselves, either to do submitted or not. When
Yeah.
we learn what we are talking about, then we may release to the, or will release to the.
But I think the issue was that we asked legal counsel to go back and find out whether there was anything in the bylaws that would prohibit the board from actually, if it decided to go to submetering, right? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it's a good question right
That was
now.
That was the question, but
That
the
was
question.
and then it came back with
With
an
the
answer
memo.
that it, yeah.
With the memorandum, but that came back to the board, privileged and
Yes,
confidential.
yes,
If the
yeah.
board wants to release that privilege and confidentiality and tell the unit owners what's in the memo, or make the memo available
What
to
I
them,
said at
that's
that
what you
time
need to
was
vote
that
on.
we needed
Yeah.
time to actually read the memo and to be
That's right.
intelligent enough to discuss it, and then we would actually then tell the unit owners what the result of that was.
So we
So are we in
we
a
read the
position to
memo.
discuss it at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, then let's talk about it, Mike.
To make a motion.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to discuss the opinion written by Donna Sharabani.
No, to
A
release the
motion
opinion.
To discuss the opinion, or a motion to release?
To release.
release it.
You wanted to
Unit
release to
owners.
the unit
Well,
owners.
well, you had said that you didn't want to release until we discussed it.
I thought, no, what I wanted you was actually to read it and be able to be intelligent enough to speak about it.
Okay.
Right, but the ruling has already been set or given to us by our attorney.
And we voted already once.
Okay, I make a motion to release the opinion to the unit owners, whoever wants it, or put it under the door.
Right, okay, good.
second.
All right. Any further discussion
Yes,
on this?
yes. As we discussed before, I do not understand why do we have to run before the locomotive. We did not consider, we do not have any idea of the submission. We scheduled an appointment, actually we asked our manager to bring here 3, 5, 6, 10 companies to educate us. And when we decide that there is something in the idea of submetering, then we will go to unit owners and release it. At this particular time, I see no sense of producing, cutting couple of trees, printing couple of, for the things which may not be finalized with us. Now, there is nothing secret in this agreement. Agreement just gives an opinion. It's not that it's strategic information here. More, so I do not understand why do we need to trouble the unit owners before we would make a decision to do anything about it. There are some other issues we can do.
I like the comment, Tom, so okay, just take over for a second.
Okay.
The issue is, we asked for a rule, okay, so that we can actually now, in order for us to even explore whether we can bring in sub-metering and so forth, we needed clarification on that. It has been given to us that, the ruling has, or actually, not a ruling, the opinion is there, and we can move forward. I wouldn't want to give the unit owners a full sense that we're looking into something that we have no right into doing. So if we're going to look at sub-metering as a proposal or as a valid thing to do now, next year, and so forth, I want the unit owners to understand that we as the board have a right to do so.
Okay. Franco?
Well, I think the opinion here, we need 2/3 of the unit owners to approve this and to go into some metering. We can't just do this on ourselves, by ourselves.
No. Are you-
What are you
That's-
reading?
I'm reading,
What are you reading?
You're picking out one isolated paragraph.
Well, there's
That's
more
all.
than, there's more than that,
Suggesting you might do it,
right?
you may not have to do it. You're picking out one paragraph.
Well, it says
That-
it will be necessary to obtain the affirmative vote of 2/3 of the votes cast in the unit owners meeting.
That's the end of a summary of
meeting.
one thought.
In a meeting, it didn't say of the total units. I'm sorry.
And
No,
only
but-
because of the cost of this particular procedure, it has nothing to do with sub-metering.
Well,
I'm sorry.
that's in that particular paragraph, but there are others where it says, about improvements, it also requires 2/3 votes.
Of the meeting.
And not just the meeting, because in other places also, it talks about mailing out to the unit owners so they
Ron,
could
can
vote.
you publicly, please, hold on, let's get a legal
Well,
stand.
actually, what we're doing now is discussing
Right.
what's in the opinion, and that's probably something you ought to do in closed session before you release it.
If the motion on the floor is
Because
whether
we didn't decide
to
to
publicize
release it
the
yet. We
opinion,
didn't vote.
by
To release it.
discussing what's in the opinion, you're publicizing it before the motion has been
Yeah,
disposed
but you
of.
don't- you want to have it.
No,
Excuse
I have one more to add.
Beanie?
There's one paragraph that's in the bylaws. One I mentioned about the improvements, that you need 2/3 of the unit owners to
You-
vote for it. It
But
doesn't,
it-
it's not attached to any expenses.
But,
You-
but, excuse me,
you-
but that's the whole point. We have to look at it, we have to understand it. You're pulling words, sentences out, paragraphs out. We need to understand what's there, but it's not even clear that it's an improvement. We have to educate ourselves. Otherwise, I have no problem, with this, but we have to make it clear, and then a lot of misinformation, people won't understand it. We have to understand this and then maybe further summarize it clearly.
Listen.
Okay.
That's my
Is,
opinion.
anybody else? Lou?
I think that, probably the vast majority of our readers and our residents are capable of reading and understanding this. Just like I think everybody on this board is capable of reading and understanding it. It's an opinion, it's not a ruling, it has some very interesting information in it. I see nothing wrong with letting the residents see this. This is not saying, yes, we're going to sub-metering, it's not saying, no, we're not. It's just saying, if the question's coming up about sub-metering, a lot of people are talking about it, and here's an opinion, whether we can or can't do it. And I don't see what's wrong with releasing it to the residents.
We already voted to release it.
No, we voted not to release
That's
it.
what you.
We
that's
voted
what
not
you're
to
discussing
release
now.
it.
We
That's
voted
the
to
motion.
discuss it today. Is it
Discuss
not
whether
released?
it should be released
Right.
and
Um,
corrected.
Thomas?
I have it until it's disposed of, right? You turn it over to me.
What's that?
Oh,
You turn the
he-
chair over to me. I
oh,
have it
oh.
until it's, Barbara's next. Thank you.
I agree with Luann. You know, there is a tendency for many boards to regard themselves as a brain trust, but really, they're not. You know, we're just ordinary owners who were elected or appointed, and yes, we represent owners in many issues, but in something like this, which is a highly controversial issue that many people have strong feelings about, I'm all for distributing as much information to everybody as possible, so we're all moving forward. I don't see anything wrong with beginning the discussion, and I'm in favor of releasing this opinion.
Okay.
Thomas
We-
has the,